The first time Leo Vasquez saw the old woman, she was standing in the rain with 2 grocery bags split open at her feet. Oranges rolled across the sidewalk like tiny bright warnings, and people walked around her. Some stepped over the fruit. One man actually kicked an orange into the gutter and kept walking, as if the woman was part of the weather, as if she was invisible. Leo watched from inside the cafe window, holding a tray of dirty cups, and felt something twist inside his chest. The old woman was dressed too nicely to be ignored. Black wool coat, pearl earrings, leather gloves, hair pinned in a neat silver bun. But she was small, trembling, and clearly trying not to cry. Her scent reached him even through the glass, something floral and distressed, a mother's worry bleeding into the rain. Leo didn't think. He dropped the tray onto the counter, ignored his manager yelling his name, and ran outside into the cold rain. "Ma'am, wait, let me help you," Leo called, already kneeling to gather the oranges. His own scent, coffee and warm bread and something soft underneath, washed out of him as he moved, a natural omega instinct to soothe. He didn't think about it. He never did. The old woman looked down at him, surprised. "Oh dear, you'll ruin your uniform." Leo laughed softly, a warm sound that made her shoulders relax. This uniform has survived spilled espresso, soup, and one angry toddler with chocolate milk. Rain won't kill it. The old woman's lips trembled into a smile, and Leo felt a small victory. He picked up the groceries, saved what he could, and helped carry the bags beneath the cafe awning. His brown hair was soaked, curls sticking to his cheeks. His apron was stained with coffee and flour. He was 25, tired, soft-spoken, and invisible to most people who enter the Morning Brew Cafe. He worked the early shift, the lunch rush, and sometimes stayed late to clean because he needed every dollar. His mother's medication wasn't cheap. Rent wasn't cheap. Being poor, Leo had learned, was somehow always expensive. The old woman tried to lift one bag again, but her hand shook. "No," Leo said gently. "Where are you going?" "Just across the street." The black car. Leo looked and saw a long black luxury sedan parked near the curb. 2 men in dark suits stood beside it, scanning the street like wolves pretending to be statues. Their scents hid him even from here. Sharp alpha, territorial, dangerous. Leo hesitated for half a second. Rich people with men like that did not belong to ordinary worlds. But the old woman was struggling, and that was all Leo allowed himself to care about. "I'll carry them," he said. The old woman studied his face. "You don't even know me." Leo shrugged. "You needed help." That answer seemed to hit the old woman harder than Leo expected. Her scent changed, something softening, something almost like gratitude wrapped in grief. Together they crossed the wet sidewalk. One of the suited men stepped forward immediately, alarm flashing in his eyes. "Señora." "I'm fine, Mateo," the old woman said. "This young man helped me." Mateo looked at Leo like he might be hiding a knife under his apron. Leo lifted the grocery bag slightly. "Just oranges," he promised. The old woman laughed, and the sound was warm and surprised. Leo placed the bags inside the car. The old woman reached for her purse. "No, please," Leo said quickly. "I didn't do it for money." The old woman paused. Leo regretted how sharp he sounded and softened his voice. "I mean, it's okay." "Really?" The old woman took Leo's cold hand between both of hers. "What is your name?" "Lau." The woman repeated it as if testing the name. "Lau." "Beautiful name." Leo smiled awkwardly. "My mother was optimistic." The old woman laughed again, warmer this time. Then she looked at the cafe sign. "You work there, yes? Do they treat you well?" Leo glanced back through the window. His manager was standing near the counter, arms crossed, furious. "Well enough." The old woman's eyes sharpened. "That means no." Leo looked away. "It means I need the job." The woman squeezed his hand. "Thank you, Leo. It was nothing." "No," the old woman said quietly. "Kindness is never nothing." Leo returned to the cafe, soaked and shivering. His manager, Calvin, was waiting by the espresso machine with a face like spoiled milk. Calvin was a beta, scentless, and bitter, and he hated omegas with a quiet, simmering cruelty that never quite crossed the line into something Leo could report. "You think this is charity hour?" Calvin snapped. "Customers are waiting." Leo tied his wet apron tighter. "An old woman dropped her groceries, and you abandoned the counter. She needed help." Calvin leaned close. "You need this job. Remember that before you start playing saint." Leo swallowed the humiliation. He'd become very good at swallowing. Anger, hunger, exhaustion, words that bruised without leaving marks. His omega instinct screamed at him to submit, to lower his head, to make the threat go away. He ignored them. He always did. The rest of the day passed in a blur of orders. Cappuccino, turkey sandwich, 2 black coffees, almond croissant. Smile. Apologize. Smile again. By closing, Leo's feet throbbed, his back ached, and Calvin still docked him 15 minutes of pay for leaving the floor. That night, he walked home under broken streetlights, carrying a paper bag of unsold bread the baker had secretly given him. His apartment was small and cold, above a laundromat that shook the walls every time someone ran the dryers. His mother, Rosa, slept on a sofa, oxygen machine humming softly beside her. Leo placed the bread on the counter and kissed her forehead. She stirred, her scent warm and familiar, chamomile and lavender, the smell of safety. "Long day," Rosa murmured, not opening her eyes. "Normal day." Normal means bad when you say it like that. Leo smiled tiredly. "I helped an old woman with groceries." Rosa opened one eye. "Good. Your father always said kindness returns wearing different shoes." Leo laughed. "Then I hope kindness wears rent money." He had no idea that by morning, kindness would arrive wearing black suits. At 8:03 the next morning, the Morning Brew Café was packed. Rain had stopped, leaving the streets shining under pale sunlight. Leo was behind the counter steaming milk when the door opened and 4 men walked in. The entire cafe went quiet. They were not ordinary customers. Each wore a black suit, black coat, polished shoes, and the expression of men who did not wait in lines. Their scents hit Leo like a wall, alpha, all of them, sharp and aggressive, the kind of alphas who had never been told no. The largest one stood near the door. Another moved toward the window. A third watched the kitchen. The fourth approached the counter. Calvin appeared instantly, suddenly polite. "Gentlemen, welcome. What can I get for you?" "We are here for Leo Vasquez," the man said. The milk pitcher slipped in Leo's hand. Calvin turned slowly. "Thou?" Every customer looked at him. Leo's heart began pounding, his omega instinct screaming at him to run, to hide, to find somewhere safe. He forced himself to breathe, forced his scent to stay even, forced his hands to stop shaking. He wiped them on his apron. "That's me." The man's eyes moved over Leo's face, not rudely, but carefully, like he had been told exactly who to find. His nostrils flared slightly, scenting him. "Please come with us." Leo stepped back. "No." "Leo, don't be stupid," Calvin hissed. Leo ignored him. "Who are you?" The man reached inside his coat. Leo flinched. The man pulled out a cream envelope. "For you." Leo stared at it. His name was written on the front in elegant handwriting. Inside was a short note. "My dear Leo, yesterday you helped me when everyone else looked away. Today my son wishes to thank you properly. Please do not be afraid of the men. They look worse than they are. Isabella Romano." Leo read it twice, then looked at the men. "Your son sends bodyguards to invite people for thank you coffee?" The man's mouth twitched. "Mr. Romano does most things with security." The cafe whispered. Calvin's face had gone pale. "Romano," someone near the window muttered. "As in Dante Romano?" Leo knew that name. Everyone in Chicago knew that name. Dante Romano owned half the restaurants in the city, several luxury hotels, and enough construction companies that politicians smiled too hard when his name came up. He was also rumored to be the head of the Romano family, which nobody said too loudly unless they wanted trouble. Leo looked down at his stained apron. I can't leave. I'm working. Calvin suddenly grabbed his elbow and whispered, Go. Leo stared at him. Yesterday, you docked my pay for helping her. Leo? Calvin said through his teeth, terrified. Go. The bodyguard looked at Calvin's hand on Leo's arm. Remove your hand, he said. Calvin obeyed instantly. Leo slowly took off his apron. His hands were shaking, but his voice stayed steady. I'm only going because the old woman asked nicely. The bodyguard nodded. That is what she said you would say. Outside, a black SUV waited at the curb. Leo's stomach twisted. For a second, he almost ran. But then he saw the old woman from yesterday sitting inside, smiling through the window. Leo exhaled. Hello, dear, Isabella Romano said as the door opened. I told him not to frighten you. They are terrible at subtlety. Leo climbed in carefully. That was them trying not to? Isabella laughed. You see, I like you already. The SUV pulled away from the cafe. Leo watched Calvin shrinking in the window, looking as if he had just discovered his underpaid barista might be important. They drove to a mansion near the lake, hidden behind iron gates and manicured gardens. Leo tried not to stare but failed. Marble fountain, white stone walls, black cars, men with earpieces. Everything looked like money had learned to threaten people. Inside, the mansion was warm and golden, full of chandeliers and polished floors. Isabella walked slowly, one hand on Leo's arm as if he were the one helping her, and not the other way around. My son is in his office, Isabella said. He wanted to meet the boy who refused payment. Leo gave a small smile. I didn't refuse to be dramatic. No, you refused because you have pride. Pride is free. I can afford it. Isabella laughed so loudly a maid glanced over in surprise. Then the office doors opened. Dante Romano stood inside. Leo forgot how to breathe. He was younger than Leo expected, maybe 40, tall and broad, wearing a black shirt open at the collar beneath a dark tailored suit. Tattoos climbed the side of his neck and disappeared beneath the fabric. His hands were inked, marked with rings. One gold watch rested at his wrist. His face was handsome in a way storms are, beautiful from far away, dangerous up close, controlled and impossible to ignore. But it was his scent that nearly undid Leo. Cedar and smoke and something darker, something that made Leo's omega instinct scream alpha, alpha, dangerous alpha, and underneath it all, something that made his body want to lean closer, to submit, to trust. Leo hated it. He hated how his body responded. He hated the way his scent started to change without his permission, softening at the edges. Dante's eyes moved from his mother's hand on Leo's arm to Leo's face. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he looked at Isabella. You should have called me yesterday. I dropped oranges, Dante. I did not declare war. You were outside without Matteo close enough. I crossed the sidewalk, not enemy territory. Leo pressed his lips together to keep from smiling. Dante noticed. His eyes returned to Leo. You find this funny? A little. Isabella smiled with delight. Dante did not. Or maybe he almost did and stopped himself. You helped my mother, he said. She dropped groceries. Most people kept walking. They were rude. Yes, Dante said. They were. He stepped behind his desk and picked up a small velvet box. Leo immediately raised his hands. No. Dante paused. You haven't seen what it is. If it's expensive, no. His eyebrow lifted. You refuse gifts often? Only from mafia bosses. The room went silent. Isabella covered her mouth, clearly trying not to laugh. Dante stared at Leo for 3 long seconds. Then he laughed once, low and surprised. Leo's cheeks warmed. Saudi? No. Dante's eyes glittered. You're not. He opened the box anyway. Inside was a delicate gold bracelet with a tiny orange charm. Leo softened despite himself. "It's not payment," Isabella said gently. "It's memory." Leo looked at the old woman's hopeful face and felt his defenses weaken. "It's beautiful." Dante stepped closer and placed the box on the desk between them. "Take it." Leo looked at him. "Do you always order people when you're trying to be nice?" "I'm not often trying to be nice." "Clearly." Isabella laughed again. "Dante, he is good for you." Dante's expression hardened slightly. "Mother." Leo sensed the change. There was tension between them. Love, yes, but also fear, control. A son who had turned protection into a prison because the world had once hurt them. Isabella touched Leo's arm. "Stay for tea." Leo looked at the clock on the wall. "I have to get back to work." Dante's face turned colder. "Your manager will survive. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about rent." The honesty slipped out before Leo could stop it. Dante's eyes flickered, and Leo hated that. Hated the way rich people noticed poverty like a stain. "I mean, I need my hours," Leo said quickly. Dante picked up his phone. "You have the day off." "No, I don't." He looked up. "You do now. Did you just call my boss?" "Yes." Leo stared. "You can't just rearrange my life because your mother likes me." "I can." Wrong answer. Isabella watched them like a woman enjoying a play. Leo stepped closer to Dante's desk. "Listen, Mr. Romano. Yesterday I helped your mother because she needed help. I didn't do it to get dragged out of my job, given jewelry, and ordered around by a man with bodyguards." Dante's gaze darkened, but not with anger. Interest. "Most people don't speak to me that way. Maybe most people are trying to stay alive." "And you?" Leo stopped himself. What?" "I'm trying to pay rent." That made him quiet. Isabella's smile faded. "Leo, dear." Leo immediately regretted the sharpness. "I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I can't afford surprises." Dante studied him for a long moment. His scent shifted, still alpha, still dominant, but something underneath it softened. Something almost like respect. Then, no surprises. He placed the bracelet box in Leo's hand. "No strings. No debt. No demand. You may return to work after tea." Leo looked down at the box. "One tea." Isabella beamed. "Perfect." Tea became lunch. Lunch became a tour of the garden, because Isabella insisted the roses were criminally ignored by men with guns. Leo found himself laughing more than he had in months. Isabella asked about his mother, his job, his dreams. Leo tried to answer lightly, but Isabella heard what was hidden underneath. "You take care of everyone," the old woman said. Leo looked at his hands. "Someone has to." "And who takes care of you?" Leo smiled, but it hurt. "Coffee from the terrace." From the terrace, Dante watched them. His right-hand man, Marco, stood beside him. "He's ordinary," Marco said. Dante's eyes stayed on Leo. "No." Marco Froneth. "Boss. Ordinary people don't refuse money when they need it." Marco glanced at him. "That makes him dangerous." Dante's voice was quiet. "That makes him rare." By the time Leo returned to the cafe, everything had changed. Calvin was too polite. Customers whispered. A coworker named Jenna grabbed his arm near the pantry. "Are you insane? For Romano men came for you. They came for his mother." "No, Leo. Men like that don't send bodyguards for nothing." Leo touched the bracelet hidden in his pocket. "It was just tea." Jenna stared. "With the Romanos, nothing is just tea." That night after closing, Leo found Calvin in the office, counting cash. "You docked my pay yesterday," Leo said. Calvin looked up nervously. "We can adjust that." "You will adjust it." Calvin blinked. "And you'll pay Jenna for the extra hours you keep pretending are training." His face tightened. "Leo, don't push your luck." For the first time, Leo didn't shrink. Luck walked into the cafe wearing 4 black suits this morning, he said. I'm pushing. Calvin stared at him, pale and furious. The next day, the cafe got inspected. Not by City Health, by Dante Romano. He walked in at 10 a.m. with 2 men behind him, wearing a dark suit and the expression of someone evaluating a crime scene. His scent preceded him, cedar and smoke, alpha dominance wrapped in expensive cologne. It filled the small cafe like a command. Leo nearly dropped a cappuccino. What are you doing here? Buying coffee. You don't look like you drink cafe coffee. I'm adaptable. Calvin rushed over. Mr. Romano, welcome, sir. Please, anything you like. Dante ignored him and looked at Leo. What do you recommend? Leo narrowed his eyes. For you? Black coffee. No sugar. Very bitter. Marco coughed behind him. Dante's mouth twitched. Perfect. He sat at a corner table. For the next hour, business doubled because everyone wanted to see why Dante Romano was sitting in a small cafe drinking bitter coffee while watching a barista like he was the only person in the room. Leo hated how aware he was of him. Hated the way his eyes followed the movement of his hands. Hated that he noticed when Leo went lifting a crate of milk. After the rush, Dante stood and walked behind the counter. You can't come back here, Leo said. I own a building now. Leo froze. What? Calvin made a strangled sound from the office. Dante looked at Leo calmly. The landlord was eager to sell. You bought the building. Yes. Because of coffee? Because your manager is stealing wages, underpaying staff, and storing expired ingredients near the back sink. Calvin appeared in the doorway, sweating. That's not. Dante looked at him. Calvin stopped talking. Leo's head spun. You can't just do that. I already did. Why? Dante looked at him carefully. Because you asked him to pay people fairly, and he threatened you after I left. Leo's blood went cold. How do you know that? Dante's silence answered. Leo stepped closer, furious. You had me watched. To keep you safe. I didn't ask you to keep me safe. No. But someone followed you home last night. Leo stopped. Dante's tone remained calm, but his eyes did not. Not my men. Someone else. Who? That is what I intend to find out. The world tilted. The danger Leo thought belonged only to him had somehow reached Leo. Dante lowered his voice. My mother spoke too freely yesterday. People know she favors you. In my world, that makes you useful to my enemies. Leo laughed shakily. So, helping with oranges got me a stalker? Yes. That is the worst thank you gift I've ever received. Dante looked almost sorry. I know. That evening, he drove Leo home himself. Leo argued for 10 minutes. Dante ignored 9 and answered 1. You don't get to order me around, Leo said. I'm not ordering. I'm driving. That's not different enough. But when they reached his building, Leo saw a man across the street turn away too quickly. Dante saw him too. In seconds, Marco had the man against the wall. Leo stood frozen on the sidewalk. Dante opened the car door. Stay inside. Leo didn't. Of course he didn't. The man was searched. In his pocket was a photo of Leo leaving the Romano mansion. On the back was written, the mother's new pet. Leo felt sick. Dante's face became terrifyingly still. Who sent you? He asked. The man said nothing. Dante smiled. Leo quickly stepped forward. Don't. Dante looked at him. Not here, Leo whispered. Not in front of my building. My mother is upstairs. The word mother changed his expression. He turned to Marco. Take him away. Leo's legs shook. Dante noticed and gently touched his elbow, barely there. Come, he said. I need to check your apartment. My mother will panic. Then I will be polite. Despite everything, Leo almost laughed. Can you? I can try. Rosa Vasquez was not impressed by mafia money. She sat on the sofa with a blanket over her knees, oxygen tube under her nose, and looked Dante up and down. "You're the reason my son came home in a black car." Dante stood respectfully near the door. "Yes, ma'am." "You trouble." "Yes, ma'am." Leo groaned. "Mama." Rosa's eyes narrowed. "At least he's honest." Dante inspected the apartment quietly. Broken window latch. Victor lock. Fire escape accessible from the alley. Every discovery made his jaw tighten. Rosa watched him. "You care about him?" Leo froze. Dante looked at Leo first, then Rosa. "I am beginning to." The room went silent. Leo's heart tripped. Rosa nodded slowly. "Then don't make him pay for your world." Dante's voice softened. "I'm trying not to." Rosa held his gaze. "Try harder." That night, Leo couldn't sleep. His mother slept peacefully. Two plainclothes guards stood outside. The bracelet with the little orange charm lay on Leo's nightstand, catching the streetlight. His phone buzzed. "Dumpta, door locked." Leo stared at the message, then typed back. "Leo, two guards outside." "You tell me." A moment later, "They are for the stairwell." "The door still matters." Leo smiled despite himself. "Door locked." "Good." The next days became strange. Dante bought the cafe building, but did not fire everyone. Instead, he replaced Calvin with Jenna, paid back wages, renovated the kitchen, and installed proper locks. Leo tried to stay angry, but it was difficult to be furious while his coworkers cried from relief. Isabella visited daily. She sat near the window with tea, watching Leo work. "You love this place," Isabella said one afternoon. "I love what it could be." "Then make it yours." Leo laughed. "With what money?" Isabella only smiled. Leo turned suspicious. "Don't." "I said nothing." "You have the face of a woman about to interfere." "My dear, I am Italian." Interference is love with better shoes. But enemies moved faster than dreams. One evening, Isabella collapsed outside the cafe. Leo caught her before she hit the ground. "Call an ambulance," Leo shouted. Dante arrived in 7 minutes, faster than any ambulance. His face, we saw his mother, pale and unconscious in Leo's arms, was something Leo would never forget. Pure fear, the kind even powerful men cannot hide. At the hospital, doctors said Isabella had skipped medication, ignored weakness, and pushed herself too hard. Dante stood outside her room, furious and helpless. Leo sat beside him. "She didn't want to worry you. That is not her choice." Leo looked at him. "You can't control people into staying alive." Dante's eyes flashed. "Watch me." "No." Leo's voice softened. "You can love them. You can help them. But you can't turn love into a prison." Dante looked through the glass at his mother. "I already lost too much." "I know." He turned to her. "You don't." Leo's voice became quiet. "My father left when I was 8. My mother got sick when I was 19. I lost college savings, friends, sleep, and most of myself trying to keep her breathing. Don't tell me I don't understand fear." Dante looked ashamed. "I'm sorry," he said. Leo nodded. Dante reached for his hand. Slowly, this time, Leo let him hold it. The man who had followed Leo turned out to work for the Vitali family, rivals who believed Isabella had passed something important to Leo. They thought the bracelet contained a key, code, or message. It didn't. It was just a bracelet. But criminals often create meaning where kindness is too simple to understand. Vitali demanded a meeting. Dante planned to go alone. Leo found out and blocked his office door. "No." Dante's eyebrow lifted. "No." "No, you heard me. This is not your business. They followed me. They scared my mother. They nearly killed yours by stressing her. It became my business." Dante stared. "You are a cafe boy." Leo stepped closer. "And you are a mafia boss who needed a cafe boy to remind you your mother is not made of stone." For a moment, Dante looked at him like he had slapped him. Then he said, "You stay in the car. Fine. You do not get out. Fine. You do not argue. Now you're dreaming." The meeting took place in a luxury restaurant, closed for the night. Leo waited in the car with Marco, watching rain slide down the windshield. Through the glass doors, he saw Dante facing three men in suits, deadly, alone in the center of power. Then Leo saw the waiter. His hand shook as he approached Dante's table. Not nervous. Wrong. Leo had worked in cafes long enough to know when someone carried a tray naturally and when someone was pretending. "Marco," Leo said. "That waiter." Marco looked. His posture changed instantly. "Stay here." But Leo was already opening the door. Inside, the waiter lifted the silver coffee pot. Leo shouted, "Dante!" Dante turned as the waiter pulled a gun from beneath the tray. Leo threw the nearest chair into his path. The shot went wide, shattering a mirror. Dante moved like lightning. Marco slammed the waiter into the floor. Vitali's men drew weapons. In 2 seconds, the restaurant became chaos. Dante grabbed Leo and pulled him behind him. "I said stay in the car," he snarled. "You're welcome," Leo snapped. A second shooter appeared near the kitchen. Leo saw him before anyone else because he knew kitchens, doors, corners, movement left. Dante left. Dante fired once. The shooter dropped his weapon and fell. Silence returned in pieces. Dante turned to Leo, breathing hard, fury and fear battling across his face. "You could have died. So could you." His hand cupped Leo's face, suddenly rough and warm. "Do you understand what that would do to me?" Leo stopped breathing. Everyone in the room seemed to disappear. He whispered, "Dante." Dante pulled his hand back like he had touched fire. The Vitali family surrendered before midnight. Not because Dante threatened them, but because they saw the look on his face when Leo was almost harmed and understood that some wars were too expensive. Weeks later, the Morning Brew Café reopened under a new name, Orange Pearl. Leo owned 40%. Jenna owned 20%. The staff shared 10%. Dante owned nothing because Leo refused, until he agreed to only invest as a silent partner with legal paperwork and no surprise control. Isabella declared it annoyingly modern but charming. Opening day was bright and crowded. Fresh pastries lined the glass case. Orange flowers decorated the tables. A small framed photo near the register showed Isabella's spilled oranges from the day everything began, because Leo had insisted that kindness deserved evidence too. Dante arrived after closing in his black suit, tattoos visible, looking completely out of place among pastel walls and cinnamon rolls. Leo handed him bitter coffee. "You still hate sugar. I tolerate yours. That's dangerously close to a compliment. I'll recover." Leo smiled. Isabella sat near the window, healthier now, wearing the gold bracelet with a matching orange charm around her neck because she said Leo had earned the original. Dante looked at his mother laughing with Rosa near the front table, both women plotting something involving cannoli. "You saved her," he said. Leo shook his head. "I carried groceries." "You did more than that." Leo looked at him. "So did you." Dante stepped closer. "Leo." His name in Dante's voice had changed over the weeks. Softer now. Less command. More confession. "I'm not an easy man. I noticed. I bring danger. I noticed that too. I don't know how to love gently." Leo's heart squeezed. "Then learn." Dante looked at him for a long moment. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a small velvet box. Leo immediately pointed at him. "If that is expensive, I'm throwing it at you." Dante opened it. Inside was not a diamond. It was a tiny silver key. "To the cafe," he said. "Not a gift. Not a debt. A copy. So I have to ask before entering." Leo stared at him. The most dangerous alpha in Chicago had given him a key that limited him, not access, permission. Leo's eyes filled. That might be the most romantic, controlling thing anyone has ever done. I was aiming for only romantic. You missed slightly. I'll improve. Leo laughed through tears. Then he stepped closer and kissed him. Not because he was powerful. Not because he sent 4 bodyguards. Not because he bought buildings or ended threats. But because underneath all that darkness was a man trying, clumsily and fiercely, to become someone worthy of the kindness that had found his mother in the rain. And Leo was no longer just the poor cafe boy who carried bags for an old woman. He was the Omega who taught a Mafia Alpha that kindness was not weakness. It was a debt no money could repay. That night, Dante drove Leo home. The streets were quiet, the rain had stopped, and the city glittered with wet lights. They sat in the car outside Leo's building, neither of them moving. You're not coming up, Leo said. It wasn't a question. Not tonight. Because of my mother? Because of you? Dante turned to look at him. His scent filled the car, cedar and smoke, and underneath it, something raw and wanting. When I'm near you, I don't want to stop. I don't want to be careful. I want to claim you. Leo's breath caught. His own scent responded before he could stop it. Warmth, submission, want. Then why don't you? Dante's jaw tightened. Because I promised no surprises. Because you deserve to choose. Because if I mark you tonight, it won't be because I was afraid you'd run. Leo looked at him. Really looked. Saw the fear underneath the control. Saw a man who had lost everything once and was terrified of losing again. I'm not going to run, Leo said quietly. I know. That's what scares me. Leo reached across the console and took his hand. Then stay. Dante's eyes darkened. No, not for that. Leo's cheeks flushed. I mean stay. Sleep on the couch. Meet my mother in the morning without guns and suits. Let her see who you are when you're not being a mafia boss. Dante stared at him for a long moment. Then slowly he smiled. It transformed his face, made him look younger, softer, almost ordinary. You're serious. I'm always serious. No, you're not. Leo grinned. Fine. I'm occasionally serious. But I'm serious about this. Dante turned off the engine. Your mother is going to interrogate me. Yes. She's going to ask about my intentions. Definitely. She's going to threaten me with a wooden spoon. Probably. Dante sighed. I have faced down armed men, rival families, and federal investigators. I am terrified of your mother. Leo laughed. Good. That means you're smart. They walked up the stairs together. Rosa was awake, sitting on the sofa with her oxygen tube and her sharp eyes. She looked at Leo, then at Dante, then at their joined hands. Leo, she said. Explain. Mama, this is Dante. He's the one who sent the guards. He's also the one who bought the cafe and fired Calvin. Rosa's eyes narrowed. I know who he is. I watch the news. I'm asking why he's holding your hand at midnight. Leo opened his mouth. Dante spoke first. Because I'm trying to earn the right to hold it. The room went silent. Rosa studied him for a long moment. Then she said, You're the one who almost got my son killed. Yes. You're the one who saved his job. Yes. You're the one who looks at him like he hung the moon. Dante's cheeks flushed. Leo stared at him. You do. Dante didn't answer Rosa. He looked at Leo. I look at you like you changed my life. Because you did. Leo's heart ached. Rosa sighed. Fine. Sit down. I'll make tea. Mama. I said sit. Both of you. I want to hear everything. They stayed up until almost dawn. Rosa asked questions, sharp, pointed, relentless. Dante answered every single one. He told her about his father's death, his mother's illness, the weight of running a family that wasn't just a family. He told her about the enemies, the fear, the nights he couldn't sleep. Then he told her about Leo. About the rain. About the oranges. About the moment he knew he was in trouble. She refused the bracelet, Dante said. She wouldn't take a gift from me. Do you know how long it's been since someone refused something from me? Rosa smiled. He gets that from me. I figured. Leo sat between them, watching his mother and the most dangerous alpha in Chicago bond over how stubborn he was. It was surreal. It was perfect. Dawn was breaking when Rosa finally yawned. Okay. I'm tired. You're both exhausting. I approve. Mama. I said I approve. Now go to bed, both of you. She looked at Dante. Couch. I'll know if you sneak. Dante raised his hands. I wouldn't dream of it. Good. Because I have a wooden spoon. Dante laughed. Genuinely laughed, low and warm. Leo's heart flipped. Rosa went to bed. Leo showed Dante to the couch. Ancient, lumpy, covered in a crochet blanket. It's not a mansion, Leo said. It's not, Dante agreed. You can leave. I'm not going to. Leo looked at him. Why? Dante reached up and pulled him down. Leo landed on his chest, warm and solid. Dante's scent wrapped around him, cedar and smoke and something that smelled like home. Because, Dante murmured against his hair, I spent my whole life looking for something that wasn't money or power. I didn't know what it was until you handed me oranges in the rain. Leo's throat tightened. That's the cheesiest thing anyone's ever said to me. It's also true. Leo looked up at him. The morning light was starting to filter through the thin curtains, catching the tattoos on Dante's neck, the gold ring in his ear, the shadows under his eyes. Stay, Leo said. Stay for breakfast. Stay for lunch. Stay until my mother threatens you again. Dante smiled. That's the best offer I've had in years. They stayed. Dante stayed for breakfast, for lunch, for a walk to the park with Rosa and her oxygen tank. He stayed while Leo worked at the cafe, sitting in the corner with bitter coffee and watching him like he was the only person in the world. And at night, when they were alone on the fire escape, looking at the city, Dante pulled Leo close. I meant what I said, Dante murmured. I want to claim you. But I want you to want it too. Leo turned in his arms. I do want it. I want you. Dante's eyes darkened. You know what it means. Once I mark you, there's no going back. You'll be tied to me, to my world, my enemies, my everything. I know. You could die. So could you. Dante's hand cupped his face. Leo, I'm not afraid of your world, Leo said. I'm afraid of losing you. And that's the same thing, isn't it? Dante kissed him, deep and claiming, and full of everything he couldn't say. Leo kissed him back, letting his scent rise, letting his body say what words couldn't. Mark me, Leo whispered against his lips. Please. Dante pulled back. Not tonight. Why not? Because I want to do it right. I want you to have a choice in the morning, in the light, when you're not caught up in the moment. I want you to remember every second. Leo stared at him. You're impossible. I'm trying. I know. Leo kissed him again. That's why I love you. The words hung between them. Dante's eyes went wide. Now, I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. I don't care. Leo's voice was shaking. I love you, Dante Romano. The mafia boss. The man who bought my cafe. The man who looks at me like I matter. Dante pulled him into his arms. You matter, he said, his voice rough. You matter more than anything. 2 weeks later, Leo woke up in Dante's bed. His apartment, his world. The sheets smelled like cedar and smoke. The city glittered through the window. And Dante was watching him. Creepy, Leo mumbled. Romantic, Dante corrected. I was going to say romantic. Were you? I was going to say a lot of things. Dante reached for him. But I think actions are better. He pulled Leo close and kissed him, slow, thorough, devastating. Leo melted into it, letting his scent rise, letting his body trust. "Are you ready?" Dante asked against his lips. Leo nodded. "I've been ready." Dante kissed his neck, his shoulder, his collarbone. His teeth grazed Leo's scent gland, the place where an Omega's scent was strongest, where a claiming bite would bind them forever. "Last chance," Dante murmured. "Mark me," Leo said. "Make me yours." Dante bit down. The pain was sharp and bright, and then it wasn't pain. It was heat, overwhelming heat, spreading through Leo's body like a wave. His scent changed, deepened, warmed, and underneath it, Dante's scent joined his. Cedar and coffee. Smoke and warmth. "Mine." Dante's voice echoed in his head. "Yours," Leo answered. Dante pulled back. His eyes were dark, his scent wild with satisfaction. "You're mine now," he said. "You're never leaving." Leo kissed him. "Good." Dante marked Leo properly that night. And the night after. And the night after that. And in the morning, when Leo woke in Dante's arms, the world was different. He could feel Dante's presence in his head, in his chest, in every part of him. Their scents had mingled into something new, something that was unmistakably them. "I can hear you," Leo whispered. "Good." Dante kissed his forehead. "That means it worked. Is that normal?" "Nothing about us is normal." Leo laughed. "Fair point." Isabella noticed the moment they walked into the mansion. She took one look at Leo's neck, at the fresh claiming mark, and burst into tears. Finally, she said, hugging them both, "I was so tired of waiting. Mama." "Don't mama me. I have been waiting for grandchildren for years." Dante groaned. Leo blushed. Isabella laughed. "Okay, not grandchildren, but a son. I have a son now." "Leo, you're my son." And Leo realized he was. He had a mother who loved him, an alpha who worshipped him, and a world that had somehow impossibly become his. The cafe thrived. Orange Pearl became the most popular spot in the neighborhood, not because of its mafia connections, but because of its coffee, its warmth, and its owner. Leo worked the counter every morning, his claiming mark visible, his scent mingled with Dante's. Customers didn't ask. They just smiled and ordered. Dante came every afternoon for his black coffee. Leo made it bitter, just the way he liked it. "Still no sugar?" Leo asked one afternoon. "Still hate it?" "You're impossible. You love me anyway." Leo kissed him. Ido. Against all odds. Rosa and Isabella became inseparable. They planned cannoli tastings, argued about recipes, and conspired to make Leo and Dante's lives as chaotic as possible. "They're terrifying," Dante said one night. "They're in love," Leo corrected. "No, they're terrifying. Your mother threatened me with a wooden spoon again." "Good. That means she likes you." She said, "If you break his heart, I'll break your kneecaps." Leo laughed. That's her way of saying she approves. Leo took Dante's name. Not legally. Neither of them cared about legalities, but in every way that mattered. He was Leo Romano Vasquez, the Omega who changed the mafia boss's heart. They had a ceremony in the garden, small, private, surrounded by their family. Rosa cried. Isabella cried. Marco, Dante's right-hand man, pretended not to cry and definitely cried. "You're not crying," Leo teased. "I have allergies," Marco said, dabbing his eyes. "It's winter. I'm allergic to winter." Leo laughed and kissed Dante. "I love you," he said. "I love you too," Dante answered. "For the rest of my life." And they lived. Not without danger. Dante's world was still violent, still dangerous. But Leo had faced gunshots and stalkers and a hostile mafia. He wasn't afraid anymore. He had Dante. He had his mother. He had his cafe. And that was enough. #BL Poor Cafe Boy helped a mafia mother. Next morning, for bodyguards came for her extra, the first snow. The first snow fell on Chicago 3 weeks after the claiming. Leo woke to cold light filtering through the curtains, and a weight across his chest that hadn't been there when he fell asleep. Dante's arm was draped over him like a shield, his face buried in Leo's neck, breathing slow and even. The claiming mark had healed into a faint silver scar, visible only when Leo tilted his head just right. But the bond hummed between them constantly, a low warm current that Leo still wasn't used to. He could feel Dante's dreams. Fuzzy and indistinct, but there. Something about a garden. Something about oranges. Something about Leo, always Leo. Leo smiled and pressed a kiss to Dante's forehead. "Wake up." Dante grunted. "Your mother is coming for breakfast." Dante's eyes opened immediately. "What time is it?" "7. "She's not coming until 9. Elite." "You were snoring." "I don't snore." "You snore like a chainsaw." Dante pulled him closer. "You're a terrible liar. I learned from the best." Dante kissed his neck, right over the scar. Leo shivered. The bond flared warm and bright. "You're trying to distract me," Leo said. "Is it working?" "No." Leo pushed at his chest. "I have to open the cafe. Jenna's sick, and Marco can't work the espresso machine without breaking it." Dante groaned. "I'll buy a new espresso machine." "That's not the point." "Then what's the point?" Leo looked at him. Dante's hair was a mess. There was a pillow crease on his cheek. He looked soft and human and nothing like the mafia boss who made politicians tremble. "The point," Leo said, "is that I'm not letting you buy your way out of my schedule." "I wasn't trying to buy my way out. I was trying to buy you more time in bed." "Same thing. Completely different." Leo kissed him quick and slipped out of bed. Dante watched him go, eyes tracking every movement. The bond hummed with something warm and possessive. "You're staring," Leo called from the bathroom. "You're beautiful." "That's not an excuse. It's a fact." Leo laughed. In the mirror, he looked the same as always, tired, curly-haired, covering a faint dusting of flour from last night's baking. But something was different, too. His eyes were brighter. His scent was richer. The scar on his neck gleamed silver. He was someone's omega now. Someone's everything. It still didn't feel real. The cafe was warm and busy when Leo arrived. Jenna was indeed sick, leaving him short-staffed. Marco was behind the counter, trying to steam milk with the intensity of a man diffusing a bomb. "Marco, you're going to burn it." "It's fine." "It's screaming." "The milk is not screaming." Leo gently took the pitcher from him. "Milk screams when you overheat it." Basic coffee science. Marco stepped back, relieved. "I don't understand how you do this every day." "Practice." "And desperation. What's the difference?" "I'll let you know when I figure it out." The morning rush was brutal. Leo moved between the espresso machine, the register, and the pastry case, his body running on muscle memory. Customers came and went. Scent of coffee and cinnamon and wet will fill the air. And then, at 10 o'clock, the door opened and the entire cafe went quiet. Dante walked in with 4 bodyguards behind him. He was wearing his usual black suit, tattoos visible at his collar, expression carefully neutral. His scent preceded him, cedar and smoke, dominance wrapped in expensive cologne. But it was who followed him that made Leo's heart stop. Isabella and Rosa, together. "Isabella," Leo said carefully. "Mama, what you doing here?" "Breakfast," Isabella announced. "We decided to have breakfast here." "Together." Rosa nodded firmly. "Your cafe has the best pastries in Chicago." "I made those pastries." "Exactly. Best pastries in Chicago." Leo looked at Dante, who looked like a man who had been outnumbered and outvoted. "You knew about this." "I was informed after the decision was made." "You're the head of a crime family. That doesn't make me immune to maternal pressure." Isabella laughed. "He's learning." She took Rosa's arm and led her to a corner table. Sit. I want to try the almond croissant." "Rosa, you have to try the almond croissant. I'm more of a pan dulce person." You're going to expand your horizons. She's impossible, Rosa said, not unkindly. So I've been told. They sat together, two old women from different worlds, united by their stubbornness and their love for their children. Dante hovered near the counter, looking lost. Are you going to serve them? Leo asked. Are you asking me to? I'm asking you to stop looking like you're about to be executed. Your mother threatened me with a wooden spoon again, probably because you deserved it. I bought her a new oxygen machine. You're a good man, Dante Romano. I'm really not. You're trying. Leo kissed his cheek. That's what matters. The cafe was full by noon. Dante had taken off his jacket and was attempting to bust tables, a task he performed with the grim determination of someone who had never cleaned anything in his life. The cups go in the bin, Leo said. I know where the cups go. Then why are you putting them in the sink? The sink seemed logical. The bin is more logical. The bin is more logical to you. The sink is more logical to me. One of us is wrong. It's not me. Marco watched from the corner, laughing silently. I've never seen the boss like this, he admitted. He once stared down a man with a gun without blinking. Now he's being lectured about cup placement by an Omega. Leo glared at him. I'm not lecturing. I'm providing feedback. Feedback, Marco repeated. Sure. Stop looking at me like that. Like what? Like you're going to tell this story at his funeral. Marco laughed. I'm definitely telling this story at your wedding. There is no wedding. Yet. Leo looked at Dante, who was now carrying a tray of cups with the concentration of a man defusing a bomb. The bond hummed warmly in Leo's chest. I love you, Leo thought, even when you're ridiculous. Dante looked up, his eyes finding Leo's immediately. Asterisk, I love you too, even when you're bossy, asterisk. I'm not bossy. You're the most bossy person I've ever met. That's because you've only met people who are afraid of you. Dante smiled, rare and soft. Fair point. Afternoon sunlight filled the cafe. Isabella and Rosa were still at their corner table, deep in conversation. Leo caught snatches of their words. And then he said he wanted to be a doctor, but his father said no. That sounds like my husband. All men are the same. It doesn't matter if they're Italian or Mexican. It really doesn't. Leo shook his head. They were bonding over mutual exasperation. It was terrifying. It was also perfect. Dante appeared beside him, smelling like coffee and something sweeter underneath. Your mother is teaching mine how to make tamales. That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard. She also called me the scary one. That's accurate. Thou, Dante, you're supposed to defend me. I am defending you. I'm defending the truth. Dante leaned closer, his mouth brushing Leo's ear. I'm going to make you pay for that later. Leo shivered. Promises, promises. The cafe closed at 5. Leo shooed out the last customers while Dante herded his mother and Rosa into a waiting car. Isabella insisted on taking Rosa to the mansion for dinner. I'm not leaving without my son, Rosa said. He'll come. He's coming. Am I? Leo asked. You're coming, Isabella said firmly. I'm making pasta. Pasta? From scratch. I can make it. Dante's father taught me. Dante's expression flickered. His father. The man who had died when Dante was young. The man who had taught him everything and left him everything. I'll come, Leo said quickly. I love pasta. Good. You'll love mine. Rosa hugged Leo before she got in the car. She's going to interrogate you about your intentions. I know. She's going to want grandchildren. I've been warned. She's going to ask why you wear that scarf in the summer. What? I don't know. She's Italian. She asks questions. Leo laughed and kissed her cheek. I'll survive. You always do. The dinner was a success. Isabella made pasta. Rosa made tamales. They argued about recipes and ingredients for hours. The sauce needs more garlic, Rosa said. The sauce is exactly the right amount of garlic, Isabella countered. Your sauce is good. It could be great. It's already great. It could be greater. Dante and Leo sat on a terrace afterwards, watching the city glitter below them. The cold air bit at their faces, but neither of them moved. Your mother is teaching mine to make tamales, Leo said. Your mother is teaching mine to add cilantro to everything. Both are correct. They terrify me. They love us. That's what terrifies me. Leo laughed and leaned into Dante's side. The bond was warm and steady, a reminder of everything they had built together. Are you happy? Leo asked. Dante looked at him, surprised. I don't think anyone has ever asked me that. Answer the question. Dante was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I spent my whole life looking for something I couldn't name. I thought it was power. I thought it was revenge. I thought it was enough to protect the people I loved. He looked at Leo. And then you handed me oranges in the rain. And I realized I had been looking for you. Leo's throat tightened. That's the second cheesiest thing you've ever said. I'm trying to be romantic. You're succeeding. Dante kissed him. Slow and deep and everything Leo had ever wanted. I'm happy, Dante said against his lips. I'm so happy it terrifies me. Leo kissed him again. Good. That's exactly how I feel. It snowed that night. Leo woke to a world painted white, the city muffled and soft. Dante was still asleep beside him, one arm wrapped around Leo's waist. The bond hummed with contentment. Leo watched him for a long moment. The tattoos that climbed his neck, the silver threading through his hair, the lines around his eyes that spoke of years of worry. He traced them gently with his finger. Dante stirred. 5 more minutes, he mumbled. It's snowing. I don't care. You should see it. Dante opened one eye. I've seen snow. Not like this. Dante looked. The window was frosted, but beyond it, the city was a blur of white. Beautiful and calm and nothing like the hard, gray world they usually inhabited. Okay, Dante said. That's pretty. That's it. Pretty. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. The snow is beautiful. Can I go back to sleep now? Leo laughed. No. We have to go outside. Why? Because it's the first snow. We need to make memories. Dante groaned. We've already made memories. Not in the snow. Leo, I'll make you coffee. With sugar. Don't push it. Dante got up. Leo cheered. They stood in the garden behind the mansion, watching the snow fall. It was early morning. No one else awake. The world felt new. Dante's scent wrapped around him. Cedar and smoke and something that was uniquely Dante. Thank you, Leo said. For what? For not giving up on me. For coming to the cafe. For trying. Dante turned to look at him. You think I gave you a choice? I know you didn't. That's why I'm thanking you. Dante pulled him close. I would have waited forever. Forever is a long time. I'm patient. Liar. I'm patient for you. Only for you. Leo kissed him. I love you. Even when you're being a disaster. Especially when I'm being a disaster. That's when you love me most. You're not wrong. They stood in the snow until they were cold, until the sun rose over the city, until the first sounds of the day began. Then they went inside. Later that week, Isabella pulled Leo aside. I have something for you, she said. Isabella, you've given me enough. It's not a gift. It's a promise. She handed him a small velvet box. Leo opened it. Inside was a simple gold band. It was Dante's grandmother's, Isabella said. She wore it for 60 years. She said it brought her luck. Leo looked at her. Isabella, I'm not asking you to marry him. I'm telling you that when you do, you'll have this. Leo's throat was tight. What if he doesn't want to marry me? Isabella laughed. He's been talking about it since the day you helped me with the groceries. I heard him, you know. He called you the one before he even knew your name. Leo stared at the ring. Gold and simple and beautiful. Are you crying? Isabella asked. No. You're crying. It's allergies. It's winter. I'm allergic to winter. Isabella hugged him. Welcome to the family. Dante found him in the kitchen later. Leo was staring at the ring, turning it over in his hands. What's that? Your grandmother's ring. Dante went still. She gave it to you? She said I was family. You are family. I'm your omega. You're my everything. Leo looked at him. Is that true? Dante stepped closer. I didn't know what I was looking for until I found you. I thought it was about revenge, about protecting my mother, about keeping the family safe. He took Leo's hands. And then you helped her in the rain, and you made her laugh, and you refused my gifts because you had too much pride. Leo smiled, a little sad. Pride is free. I know. Dante kissed his forehead. You don't know how much I admired that. How much I still admire it. You're the strongest person I've ever met. I'm just a cafe boy. You're the man who changed my life. Leo kissed him. I love you. I love you too. Forever. Forever is a long time. I told you. I'm patient. The snow kept falling. The world kept spinning. And every morning, Leo woke up in the same arms, the same warmth, the same love. The bond hummed. The coffee brewed. The cafe thrived. And Leo Romano Vasquez, looked out at the snow and smiled. Because kindness had found him in the rain. And love had found him in the snow. And that was everything. Then,